All right, I think I'm just going to jump right into it. I'm actually writing a little code this morning. I'm still trying to get superloser.io working again after moving it from Max Apex to Oracle Free Tier. And so let's just see what we've got. We're just going to get right into this. And hopefully I don't have any secrets or anything like that on my screen, passwords. I'm thinking I got all that fixed. So I used the email link this morning to record my weight, and it threw an error. And when I looked at the page, I'm like, this is dumb. I've got like 3 things going on this page, and I don't need to be doing that. I just need to handle one thing at a time. So let me go look at the page. This is the copy of the page where I just basically kept the fields here. We can go look at the actual, let's go look at the mess. Let's go look at the mess. So the mess is page 6, submit weight. Well, let's save this. Save. I don't like that I have to fix errors in Apex before I can save it, right? Like, I shouldn't, let's just go with the error. I know there's an error, just don't load the page. PostSQL code is required. Like that, yeah, I get it. Begin, null, end. Now you're happy. I said before, I wish it would just stay. Remember what tab you were on, because I'm always going to recently edited. I wish I could just, that would work. Process weight entry. No, I need extra, but in this case, I do need to go to all pages. So go to page 6, submit weight. So you would get an email, and it would have a link in it. It would come to this page, and you would have weight, branch, record date, auth token. And I was trying to do, this is just not what you call clean code. If you haven't watched the clean code with Uncle Bob, go find that and watch it. You will learn so much if you haven't seen it. It's so much good advice. And we need to be able to spot what they call code smells. And even though this is a low code tool, this is code smell here. We're doing too many things here. If we look at our what are we going to go to? Process page before header. So already I'm like, well, do I really want to do this before header? Maybe I should be doing a regular processing, figure a way to submit the page. But if we look at this code, there's too many if then else's. It's a mess. We're committing. I didn't leave any comment as to why I'm committing. Sometimes you commit because, because the redirect. So I don't have a comment here, but these redirects, actually, like, if you do it from here, I think they issue a rollback, or they don't do a commit. So, again, it's good to know that if you ever do this, but I should be using branches, not this Apex util redirector. I've tried to avoid using this because of this kind of weirdness, and also it just kind of hides your redirect in your code instead of using a branch. And I've gotten better at using branches and figuring out how to do more complicated branching. I mean, when you're doing complicated branching, something like this is a lot easier than creating branches, but I've gotten better at kind of managing those complications. So anyway, this is just, we're doing too many things. We're actually, I think, authorizing people to log in here, recording their weight, and then I needed to start dealing, you have to activate their account. If they're inactive and they click a link, well, then they validated their email address by clicking the link in the email. So you're going to set their account from inactive to active. You're going to let them record the weight. But if their account is locked, you wouldn't do that. I wasn't dealing with that. So this is not what we want. So we just copied this page and started from scratch. And that's where we're at. Come on. Okay. So we're going to go to page 20, our new page. So the link passes in the values and the parameters are the items and parameters, and that you set your weight, your record date, and you have an authorization token in that. And so now we're going to go to processing, and in processing this, I started writing this code in my SAS app package. So my application is SuperLoser. And I've got my code in SAS app. That's what I was calling it before. A lot of times it would just be app, would be your app package. You could do whatever you want. And we're just going to process weight entry using link. It's basically the same name as the page. So it should be easy to find. Sometimes I'll have a SAS app UI package. I wasn't doing that when I built SuperLoser. So trying to get good about throwing some documentation in here. So let's do pauth token from tokens table, and these are all required. So we make them bold. This is Markdown that I'm putting my documentation in. I like to do my documentation in Markdown so I can parse out and create nice, pretty PDFs or whatever from them, or HTML. Obviously, date weight, date of weight, weight date, and then p weight obviously is weight. These are all required. I've been somewhat inconsistent in marking these, but you just say everything is required there. You want to be able to come in, just take one quick look at it and kind of figure out what it's doing. So we take those in. We're going to need a user record and a token. So the first thing we're going to do is assert that the token is valid. We're using the K2 token API, so all we got to do is pass that in, and this will throw an error if that token is not valid. And next, if it's valid, let's go ahead and get the token. So this is where we get the token, K2 get token row. You'll see that get, whatever row, and there sometimes it's overloaded, so there's different ways to get the row. In this case, we're going to use the token. And if when we created the token, which I know in this case I did pass the user ID into that token, so now I can link that token to a user, and I can figure out who this is, even if they're not logged in. And so we're going to say the user is get SAS auth row. So it's very similar to that pattern, and we're going to use the user ID, and we can get it from the vToken user ID. Now, if we wanted to here, we could do this back up in our process, but if the user is not logged in, they may be logged in already based on code that runs whenever they hit the site, kind of auto login using a cookie. But if they aren't logged in, we could log them in here. So we'll put a to-do. Consider logging user in here if not already logged in. Of course, that's not going to be a good thing to do because they might be locked. So we probably put that right there. So now this is where we're kind of dealing with, this account could be locked. The person could be trying to kind of get into their account and it's locked for some reason using one of these links. And if we auto log them in, we either have to check for the lock status there. I think that's too many C's. Or we need to do it here, or maybe you do it in both places, because it's kind of hard to remember where am I doing all of this. So here, if the account is locked, we're not going to do anything. If it's if it's inactive, we're going to set it to active. Now, there's two ways I could do this. I've got a procedure in the SAS auth UI. Technically, this is not a UI call since it's coming from. Well, it is kind of, because it's coming from the SuperLoser UI into kind of a UI procedure. But you could also just set the just change it in the vUser record right here, and then there is a procedure in SAS auth that allows you to pass vUser in, and it just updates that record. So, and then your two records are kind of in sync at least. Right now, vUser is going to be out of sync technically. So that Anytime you do that, you could get a bug. This is very easy to introduce bugs in what I'm doing here because I'm getting this out of sync. The actual record will now be active, and I still have a reference to inactive here. So you got to be careful with that. If we pass this around somewhere, it's no longer in sync. But it's a little less verbose, and we do have a procedure. It's one line instead of like 2 lines. So anyway, there's that. There's just always different ways, and there's advantages and disadvantages of doing things. So we're going to consider, so we'll activate the count if it's inactive. And then if you wanted to also shorten this, sometimes what you do is you just go, I really don't care if it's inactive. I'm just going to set it to active all the time. As long as that's idempotent, it doesn't throw an error, then you get this down to 1 line of code. And you're still out of sync, but 1 line of code. So this is a little bit more explicit as to what we're doing. But the issue here is if we introduce, I keep getting another C in there. The issue here is if we introduce new statuses and we want to auto-activate, this does not work any longer. So those are all the kinds of things you're thinking about. So now we come down to record wait. This already exists. Okay, this is funny. So I already have code for this. I'm rewriting this. I don't know where I was calling this from. I don't think I was. Let's go see if it's in. Let's go see if it's in here. We're going to search our app. But you know what? It's always better the second time. And the answer is... Okay, so I think maybe that's not even being used. Let's search. It would be... Okay, it's in prod, it's in dev, but it's just a procedure there. It's a procedure there. Procedure. So, called from UI. So I'm not actually using this. But let's see if we did anything different here, because I'm about to get rid of this. Record wait using link. We took the 3 things. Yeah, we weren't. Insert the valid token. We were getting the user ID, recording the wait. So we were using flash message. Your wait has been recorded. We might steal that. I'm not sure if that. I've been wanting to get rid of doing this. I need it, but I don't need it. And actually, I don't think I need it if I use. We'll have to see. I think I might not need this, but we'll grab this and record wait using link. We're just going to get rid. We like to get rid of code. You should be deleting code. Yes, we like to delete code, but then sometimes we add code. Okay, so we're going to go to back up here, and I'm going to go ahead and comment this out for now. And that doesn't actually work because it would be the user dot username. Okay. So this flash message is something on the global page that will allow this message to kind of pop up if it can identify who it belongs to, no matter where they go. So when you get a branch, sometimes you miss that success message, depending on how you're doing things. This is an area I would like to see a better API in Apex so that we can get rid of this hack. All right, so process wait using link. I think record wait. I think we're good. So now we just go back to our package here, and let's just call that. And pauth token. I like the autocomplete. View record date. So this simplifies things, right? NP wait. Okay, does this work? Process wait. Oh, so we got to compile our code here. So we worked on the SAS app package. We need to put this in the header. So click there. Some people might be watching and think, well, you had a procedure and you dummy, you started writing another one, and what a waste. It's called refactoring, and it should be a part. Your code should always be getting better, and that often involves rewriting things multiple times. You just want to get good and fast at it and be able to spot those code smells and pull them apart. And you only do it really when it needs to be done. Like I'm fixing something, so I'm here. We need to maintain the code base. And we've got documentation now. Well, we've got some documentation now. I'm a little better at writing documentation when no one's looking over my shoulder, so we'll come back to that. Okay, so process wait entry. So let's go compile this. This is part of our app, superloser install. We don't want to run the whole install. I just want to compile basically my app packages here. And of course, always an error. Always an error. 27 SAS app. The user. Yeah, it's not user. That's where AI got ahead of me. Let's see what that does. Oh, cool. Okay, so compiled now. Let's see if this works. How about SAS app? Okay. So now we're calling that code when this page loads. Save. We got 7 minutes. Okay. So the code loads, and then we're going to redirect. And here it's pretty simple. We're going to redirect to, this gets a little simpler now. We're going to get to our wait entry page. Just redirect to the wait entry page. I don't think we need to clear any cache, reset anything. Click OK. And I've got a condition down here so it didn't run because I wasn't using it before, so we can just get rid of that. That simplifies things. If you ever have something like that, sometimes it's just a better to delete and redo it. We're going to call this go to wait entry page. Process the wait entry, go to wait entry. Okay, so now our dynamic actions, I think what I need to do is submit our page immediately. So we're just going to go to submit page. Submit page on page load. And then, oh, do we want a success message? Yeah, I think that's where we want to try. Your wait entry has been updated. There was a problem processing this request. Okay, so now let's go look. Since we're going to page 20 here, we need to go look at the code. I'm going to go find the code. I don't know if that's here. Send weigh-in reminder. Yeah, that's going to be somewhere in this package. So, send weigh-in reminder. Check for weigh-in reminders. In theory, they shouldn't have a locked account, but they could go back, maybe get an email from yesterday that's still those tokens. Just reminded me. We need to take, not something I'm not really doing in the tokens package yet is deleting tokens, so invalidating tokens. Now in this case, there is an expiration, but think about this. The user gets an email and they click a link and it has a token in it, it allows them to update their weight. Maybe they decide an hour later, that the scale was off, and they go do it again, and they want to click that link. Like if you invalidate the token right away, that won't work anymore. So in this case, we don't want to do that, but we do want to do that sometimes. So it's something I need to think about. So it's not really something I need to deal with right now. So check for weigh-in reminders. We're going to send the weigh-in reminder to the user ID using the record ID, and the template ID is n. If n equals 0, okay, so this passes in, what is n? N number, get the template ID, yeah. So I think we want to go to our template. Go back here. Get email ID template. That determines what template to use. I was doing something a little funny there. This is something that could probably be refactored, but we're not doing that right now. We're just looking. We're going to look over here and see all this yellow text. So here it is. Okay, so we have URL weight links. That's what we're going to be changing. So, okay, so here they are. So these are the building the links. Monkey patch, remove app arrow. I don't know. It had something to do with like, I forgot what that does. But sometimes the URLs would come back as in different ways on this get URL. I wasn't sure. So it made something that fixes something, and that basically means it's goofy and it shouldn't need to be there, but it is there. App ID, page X. Okay, so here's where we're going to page. So page is X, and X submit weight. Okay, so now here we're using our app config for the submit weight page number. This really doesn't need to be here. We're just going to, I think we're going to get rid of that and just go with, and this is a bad variable name, right? So let's fix this. We got 2 minutes left. So let's just put that, let's see where that's being used actually. And it's only being used in one place. So this should really not be something we put in our config. So I will remove it from Superloser. I will remove it from app config because that's where I've added it. In the future, I would put it in Superloser config in here because it's very specific to the application. App should be specific to all apps. You shouldn't be modifying it a lot. You should modify the values in it, but you shouldn't be adding values. So you'll see that with chart density. I have a chart density config. So anyway, if we go over just a couple minutes. So what we're going to do is, again, let's find it. There it is. So let's just go up here and just put it up here. So v submit weight page. This says number and it equals 20. And then we'll get rid of X altogether. And then we'll find our X's. Whoop, what did I just do? Okay, there we go. Whoop. V submit weight page. So this is where we're kind of formulating the link and getting rid of X. So there's one more. Sometimes that's why I use short variable names is you put a lot of them in a string like this and things get really long. And I believe these are wrong right here. This is a different, yeah, this is to go to, so this is a different page. So, all right, so I need to figure out what page, that's the weight entry page, which I think is page 3 or 15 or something. So I need to fix the rest of the email, and we're done. We've done 25 minutes. So that's what I am going to get finished here in the next 30 minutes to an hour. And hopefully Super Loser Links will be working again. And that's it. All right, thanks for watching.